Welcome, 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 everyone. Wow, what a beautiful day. Oh my goodness. So, like you guys know, I am always excited when it comes to Friday. I've always said this multiple times. So, you know, let me start by introducing myself. My name is Nini Lafatai. I'm the host of the Speaker Show. Now, the Speaker Show is a place of inspiration, motivation, where minds are being liberated through reasons. So we are here, to support, to help, to mentor, to guide, to coach. And then through other people's story, you can find your home path of inspiration. So without further ado, like you guys know that, I'm always excited about Friday, like I said. So this evening we have a very special guest that is going to be coming in our midst that I am excited about. So we're going to be digging into real estate world. So if you're the type that you're looking to invest or you're looking to buy, you are at the right place at the right time, because tonight is going to be, it's going to blow your mind. I'll be honest with you, with a lot of information that you are going to be getting tonight. So please welcome and join me as we welcome our special guest, Mr. Edwin. So welcome to our midst. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me here.
Fantastic, fantastic. So how is your day going?
It's been fantastic. It's been a very great day. And I'm super excited to be here with you today and to also have one or two discussions about real estate.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. So we're gonna be getting into, but before that, I would like you to tell us a little bit about yourself. Like we want to know who you are.
Okay, thank you once again. My name is Edwin J. Chukwujama. Of course, I'm a Nigerian by birth. I'm a licensed realtor in Ontario, and I've been practicing real estate for over the years. I'm committed to helping Ontarians get the house of their choice. And I work both in commercial and residential properties. I am dedicated to working with my clients, holding my clients' hands from beginning to the end, making sure with my in-depth knowledge of Ontario real estate, they are making informed decisions. Thank you.
Well, that's good. I like that. That's amazing. So talking a little bit about you, we would like to know, or I would like to know, actually what, being a Nigerian into the real estate world, it's a little bit, you have to be passionate about what you want to, like what you're doing, to be out there. And I commend you for doing that. I always tell this to every realtors that I come across, like that the Nigerian and the, representing us out there, because I think that it's a very phenomenal thing. So doing what you're doing, what actually prompts you to do, like, to start, like, when you want to like help others?
Nini, it's going to be a long story, but I'll try and cut it short.
All right, there's room.
Okay, a little bit of my background. I studied economics from Nnamdi Azikiwe University, BS Economics. I have my master's in University of Lagos, and I worked in Nigeria as a banker for about 13 years before moving to Canada. So when I came to Canada, I came with my family. So I have four beautiful children with my wife. So it's a family of six. So when we arrived there, we have a good, we have a reasonable amount of money. So we are trying to get an accommodation. It became an issue. So those days, because of the number of my family, we got a realtor that was helping us to get an accommodation. So some days we have to book an Uber XL, because of the size of my family. Some of us will drive there. When we get to the house, beautiful house we would have seen, and my kids would have gone around and say, "Oh, this is my room. This is where I want to stay." They've already shared the room. We've made the mental calculation of how we want to place our stuff. Then we'll come back, only for us to hear from the realtor that, "Oh, I'm sorry, the landlord is not giving you the house." And I was like, "Why? We have the money. Why are we not getting the house? So this happened and happened. At the point, I got frustrated. At the point, I started going alone. My wife was like, oh, just go. Whatever you see, it's okay with me. So we tried and tried and tried. We kept hearing, oh, you don't have a credit score. Oh, your job is just new. So many stories, So we became frustrated. At the point, we got a basement. At that point, we were just looking for anywhere we can put our head. So we got a basement. And from that basement, we were happy that somebody actually accepted us, having tried over the years. So when we got that basement, we started from there. It wasn't also easy because we are desperate. So we are ready to go for anything. One, it was a bit expensive. Secondly, I was asked to pay what they call security deposits. Almost, 1 month of my rent. But because I was desperate, I paid that. And so many stuff happened, And due to the difficulty I faced, I said to myself, I have to let the people that come after me not go through what I've gone through. So that inspired me. And I said, whatever it's going to take for me to be a bridge to most of immigrants, especially from my community that are coming to Canada, let me make that burden easy for them. So that inspired me to start looking for a way to get into real estate. I got a job as a banker in one of the banks here. But my passion has gone to real estate. So immediately I got my license as a realtor. I say, yes, I now have the opportunity to help my people, not to go through what I've gone through. So, and I'm happy I've been able to help a lot of families put smiles on their faces. Some of them don't understand what it's all about, but I'm happy I'm doing that. So that was my inspiration of getting into real estate. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know someone that had the same experience. Coming here and then that change. I think it's a lot, and then having to find a place and you found something that you like that you really want, and at the end of the day, someone else is like, oh, the property is gone. I know how stressful that could be. So it's good that that prompt you and then put some inspiration inside of you to want to help others. And I think there's nothing as good as humanity, serving others. That's the most basic part of life. So thank you for doing that. All right, so my next question for you is that being in the field that you have right now, what would you tell to the people that are interested in investing or in buying at this time? What would you say?
This time of the year 2024, well, I want to take us a little bit back so we understand where we are coming from and where we are. Right. From the year 2001 till 2023, there's been a lot of up and down trend in the real estate industry. And one of the things that affects the industry is interest rates. So if we look at from 2001, I will tell you about interest rate vis-a-vis the number of houses being sold. In 2001, average interest rate in Canada was 6.95%. Total number of houses being sold was 67,612. That was in 2001. We go to 2002, interest rate dropped a bit, average at 6.54. Total number of houses was 74,759. Fast forward to 2005, average interest rate also dropped to 5.84. Total number of houses sold, 84,145. Then when we go to 2016, Interest rate dropped to 3.65 average,
Excuse me.
and total number of houses sold in 2016 was 113,040. This is within the uh, Toronto regions.
Mhm.
So in 2021, during pandemic, interest rate dropped very significantly. However, the average was 2.96, and we had a record high of number of houses being sold at 121,712. Then in 2022, there is an upward movement in interest rates. Average interest rate was 5.34. And we'll have total number of houses sold in 2022 to be 75,049. So last year, 2023, we saw an upward movement of interest rates. It was moving, in fact, 2023, Bank of Canada was just increasing interest rate. So that affected a lot of factors in the industry. We saw the lowest number of houses being sold from 2001 till 2023. And that number was just 65,000, approximately 66,000. So that affected a lot of things because of high interest rates. People were waiting. Is it a right time to buy? There was this belief by people that interest rate is going to come down. So people were waiting. Income was not moving upward as the interest rate was increasing. So it affected the market in 2023. So now here we are, 2024. Bank of Canada just announced a new interest rate. They've been holding it for several months now, and they still held it at 5%. So as it is, people are still skeptical. What are we going to do? Do we wait?
Yeah.
Or do we go into the market? And my advice is, you don't need to wait. Because if you look at the trend of real estate, this 2023 saw a downward movement of prices. There was a reduction of price of property. So what happens? As this price drops, there is a high possibility that it has gotten to the bottom of it. So the next trend is that it start moving up. Now, if interest rate is going to inch, or maybe it's going to go down a little bit from forecasts, Bank of Canada will be holding it. So the next announcement is going to be in March. If inflation drops, they may drop interest rates. And once they drop interest rate, price of property will start going up. And once the price of property start going up, demand will start going up. And what is going to happen? Price will start increasing. So I advise anyone that wants to get into the market, this is the right time. No need of waiting. Get into the market, take position, because the flight is about to take off again. Thank you.
I like that. I like the way you said it. The flight is about to take off again. Actually, I agree with you because there's this saying that, like, whatever you want to do, you get at it. Because if you don't, you never know what tomorrow is going to be. You never know what the next second is going to be. So because you don't know, you can't predict, right? So you can only assume. So at the end of the day, it is important to, like, get at it and don't wait, because the money that you're keeping, you're saving today, tomorrow it might not even worth it because it keep going up and up and up. So tomorrow when you're ready, it will become like, a little penny. So that's
Absolutely.
important to, like, to get into the market right away. So my next
Absolutely.
question for you, yes, my next question for you is, where exactly, which area would you tell people, like, is the best place to, like, to invest or to buy, because it's growing right now? Because I know that, the GTA is different, and then, the Brantford branch is different. When we go to London, it's different. So there are different peak. of where the market is really booming. So where would you say?
Oh, wow. Well, one of the factors that affects decisions, it's one. I'm not going to say this is the place, but I'm going to generalize it. One is, why are you going into the market? Are you buying for residential purpose, or are you buying for investment purposes? If you are buying a place you want to live, you need to consider the nature of your job. Is it where you can commute to your workplace? What is the distance? These are the factors that affect it. So if, for instance, you work in downtown Toronto and you are buying in Brantford, for instance, maybe you're going to from your house, if you are working in person, so you have to factor the fact that every day you have to, be on the road for minimum of 3 hours, 1 hour 30 minutes going, 1 hour 30 minutes come. If it's something you can bear, it's fine. Go to the new developing areas. Go to areas that are not so much saturated. Buy property there. Right. In those areas, it's not as expensive as Toronto itself. So those are the factors we need to look at. What is making you to buy? If you are buying for investment purposes, then I advise you look at areas within the school environment. Those are the areas you buy property that you may not go wrong, because students always come. Students will always take those properties. Yes. So it all depends on, there is no one size fits all. That's why whatever you want to do, meet an expert. We discuss it. We find out your motivation. Why do you want to buy? What are the things you are considering? Then, based on your needs, we'll bring a tailored solution to fit into what you want. So, Ontario is a fantastic area to invest. It's a fantastic area to be. So, whatever that is your motivation will help us to know the area to advise you to buy. Thank you.
I like that. I like that because why? I also feel that it's a general question because everybody preference is different. But there's some of us that we just like investment. We just like to put our money into the proper into the real estate world. And I feel that when it comes to investment, it doesn't matter, where you live or where you don't, because it's just investment. So yeah, I want to ask, for people who are looking to invest, from your own experience, what would you say? Like, is it better off, going for new constructions, or already made, ready to go?
Wow. So when you talk about new construction, like I said, if you want to go into real estate, meet an expert that will be very honest with you and advise you properly. The issue of pre-construction, so many people have got their fingers burned, especially 2023, because in 2021 the market was booming. Some people delve into the market with the expectation that they will do what they call reassignments. Before they close, you sell. So it was a
Mhm.
viable investment. But so many people went in with speed. Some people bought two, three. You just meet a builder that's okay, pay 10,000 here, pay 10,000 before we finish, pay 90,000, depending on the price of the property. Pay 10% upon closing, you pay the rest. If you don't have an expert that is guiding you, you make a mistake. Right. Another thing about pre-construction is that you need to understand that when you pay about 10%, you have to wait till that construction is done. Some it takes them 2 years, some it takes them 3 years to complete it. So that money you've paid is just with the builder, right? It's not doing anything for you. You have to wait until construction is completed, then you close. Depending on the builder, some don't put, they don't put like fridge, like microwave, whatever, depending on the builder, depending on the arrangement they have. Some does that, appliances. Some does that. You need to factor those in. Then when you factor all this in, you then find out, do I have that resources to hold on till 2 years or 3 years while they are still building? But you said investors. Now, if you're an investor, the time value of money, if I keep this money for 3 years before they complete the building, the appreciation value of that property, is it commensurate with the money that the builder have been holding for that 3 years? You need to look at that. In as much as, by the time they finish construction, the property may have appreciated. However, you need to look at the time value of money. That money, what is as appreciated, is it enough to wait? That's why I said you need to meet an expert. So when you do your numbers and it's right, you can go for pre-construction. Fantastic. But if it's not right, you can go for resale. Because if you buy a resale and you put it up, since it's going to be for investment, you put it up. Resale will be appreciating. It's also generating income. So maybe in that 2 years, a pre-construction person is waiting. You have gained 3 years investment, a return on investment. And also, property is also appreciating. So we need to look at your financial capacity to know if you have that financial muscle to hold on, or is it something you want to get into the market as we speak? Thank you.
Nice. That's quite a very good information right there. And thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing those knowledge. I appreciate it a lot. Yeah, and I'm sure that it would show it will bring some answers to some questions or concerns like that. So thank you for that. So before we take questions from our audience, I would like to ask you another question. What do you think are the potential factors that you think they can actually influence the value of the property itself?
Those that influence the value of the property.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the factors that may influence the value of the property is, if it's a commercial property, is the basement finished? If you have a finished basement, affect the property value. The environment, if it's for investment, is it close to, for instance, I like properties that are always close to schools, because that area, you have people coming in at every point in time. As one is moving out, one is coming in. So those also affect the value of the property. And also, closeness to malls, closeness to facilities. Those are the things that affect the value of the property. Then, of course, we talk about other things. Is it a one garage, double garage? There are a lot of factors that affect the value of property. And these are part of the factors that affect the value of property.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. So we're going to get into taking questions from our audience. And I would like to read okay, so there's a question here that says, what type of property can a new buyer with an average income consider at the moment?
With an average income, when you say average income, what do we call average income? However, I think I understand where the person is going. The kind of property a first-time home buyer we consider is, first, we need to look at your income. All right? If you're a first-time home buyer, your income plays a major role in the property you're going to buy. I always advise my clients, your first property may not necessarily be your only property. But first, get into the market. Once you get into the market, you're already a player in the market. You follow the trends. You can buy today in next 2, 3, 4 years, as the case may be, it can right size, it can move up.
Yeah.
So, but the most important is you look at your income. What can I afford now with my income? Right. So, I will say, first time home buyer, look at your income, then look at properties in the market. Look at the prices of properties in the market and see where you fit in. Don't wait until you start making income of millions for you to buy a property. Most important is take a step, go into the market, then other things will flow.
All right. Okay. So really quick, another question here. It says that I know it like it's kind of fall into what you just said right now, but I believe that they just want like a specific answer. So like you being in the field and you having all this wonderful experience, what is the minimum average income that you think can actually even get you into the market to buy something? It doesn't matter how big or how small, like just to get you in the market. Like, what is the minimum, like, income?
Wow.
Well, that's for you to answer. Maybe 100,000, maybe 50,000, maybe 60. Like, give us a number.
Well, the person that may give you the right answer to this is a mortgage broker because they are licensed to speak on that aspect. I'm a realtor, but I can give you a fair knowledge, right? I am not licensed to advise you on income that will get you a property. However, I can give you a fair knowledge of what can get you a decent property. If you have a combined family income of say 120 between 120 and 150,000, it can get you a property. But however, depending on the property we are looking at, the price of the property. So it's not a one size fits all. If I buy a property that is 300,000, right? You know that your income also will not be as high as that person that is buying a property that is 800,000. Also, it may not be the same thing as someone that is buying a property of 1 million and above. However, if you're a first-time home buyer, you can do a down payment of 5%. So when you now plus the number, if the price of the property is 300,000, you now as a first-time home buyer, you can do a down payment of 5%. Then the bank or your mortgage broker will look at your income and advise you on the next step. Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay. All right. You're killing it. All right. So next question. What type of building would be great in an investment or for an investment?
Depending on the amount of money you want to invest. Yeah, so if you're looking at the kind of building that's great for an investment, I will look at um, sometimes I would say if you're buying a condo, it's not so high, but you can always make good returns. But I'm always very keen if it comes to investment, residential. I always like to advise my clients, let's go very close to properties within schools. Yes, because one thing I like school from my experience is that you hardly go wrong. The only problem there is that you need to get a handyman close that will always help you to fix whatever the student may have, you know,
Damage.
damaged. But when you look at the investment and the return on it, it's always good. So my preference, other people's preference may differ, but my own preference is always to locate my investment properties around schools. There are so many schools in Ontario. So if you can get anyone close to schools, there is a high percentage that you won't go wrong. Thank you. I hope I answered that person well.
All right, so we're gonna be taking this last question, okay? All right,
Okay.
so from the audience, actually, so we're still coming back to me. All right, so there's another question here that says, what of old house, like old houses for investment? What do you think about that?
It's great when you buy old houses for investment. It's great, depending on what you want to do. If you buy, some people buy old houses, demolish it, and build something fantastic. Yeah. So one thing about investment, like I keep saying, is how much are you willing to put down to invest in this property? Right. So if I'm looking at Mr. A's income, I'm looking at Mr. B's income. Both of them wants to come into real estate as investors, but both of them have different capacity. So what I tell Mr. A is not the same thing I will tell Mr. B. That's why you need to sit down with an expert that will look at your income, look at how much are you willing to invest. Then I will advise you. However, buying an old property is not a bad idea. If you want to demolish it and build it again and resell, it's a fantastic idea. If you are buying it to lease it out, well, it may not be too appealing to your renters, but it's also a good area to invest.
All right, all right. Thank you so much for all those beautiful answers that you've provided to those wonderful questions. All right, so coming back to me now. All right, so my question for you is, first of all, I would like, is there something that you think people need to know, that people needs to know about the real estate industry?
There are a lot of things people need to know about this industry. Based on my experience, sometimes I meet clients that have the resources to buy, but they are afraid. They don't even know how to go about it. But for you to go into this industry, first, especially people from my community, you need to understand that your credit score plays a very important role. That's one thing you don't joke with. You have to maintain a good credit score. Right. So sometimes people don't understand this stuff. Little thing that may happen in their credit, maybe one mistake, $200, $50, $10, they ignore it. This brings down your credit score. So when your credit score is low, it's very difficult for you to get a property. So first, that if you are preparing to buy a property, make sure that you build your credit score, have a very good credit score. Secondly, I always advise my clients, put your head in that market. If you can fly, why do you have to crawl? I mean, sometimes it's just a little discomfort. I call it temporary discomfort for a permanent gain. Get in. Don't wait until you have all the money for you to come in. There is no right time to get into the market. Just get the best of advice, go into the market. I mean, instead of you paying someone else's mortgage, because when you are renting, you are paying someone else's mortgage. I had
Yes.
a client that, I mean, we were just discussing, and I found out he was paying almost $4,000 every month. And I said, $4,000 times it by 12. Know how much you are throwing away. Because once the year gone, the money is gone. It's not coming back. It's gone. And the next month, if you don't pay rent, the landlord is taking you to landlord and tenant board. So he won't tell you that, oh, he has paid me a lot of money last year. No, that is gone and it's gone. So if you put all this together, you can start yours. You may start small, but you gradually build. Tomorrow, if you want to live, even if it's just 2 bedrooms that you bought, tomorrow you want to go to 4, 6, 8 bedrooms, as the case may be. Those money you are paying in your mortgage, you're going to get it back. You put the property back in the market. So I always tell people, please put your head, no matter what it is, start something, get into the market. and the rest will be a cruise for you.
I
Thank
like
you.
that. I like that. The rest will be a cruise. I like that. I like that so much. Okay, so now my question for you is this. At the moment, I know that, like, in Brantford brand area, even though, we talked about this earlier on, but forgive me that I'm still gonna bring it up.
Right.
Yes. When we talk about the Bradford brand area, you see the way the house in Paris went tremendously high, from low 400, 300, it went up to, 600, now 1 million, 1 point something million. Like, what would you say that the area, because I know it's the booming area, because I know, like, people from GTA, they're moving down to this AM, so Brantford brand area, Hamilton, London area. So, what would you say about those areas? I don't know if you have an idea about that, but, like, if you can throw a little bit light, that would be amazing. What would you say about, like, people, like, about the properties in that area? Like, do you see it like still going up, or like you think like it's probably gonna be, it's gonna gradually come down, or it's just gonna remain there?
Nini, property, price of property goes up and down. All right?
Yes.
There is no way it's going to remain static because of the factors that affect it. However, the recent booming you are seeing in those areas, in those outskirts of GTA, is because some people during pandemic, people were working from home. So people realize that instead of me living in downtown Toronto, I'm paying $4,000 every month. Why
Yeah.
don't I move to Paris? Why don't I move to Brantford? Why don't I move to Stony Creek? Why don't I move to Welland? Buy the property since I'm working from home. So that made a lot of people to move. As they are moving, when I move, I tell my friends who have moved to this place, they'll come and visit me. And they come and say, oh, this area is good. Well, what about the school? You say, oh, look at great school. What about groceries? Oh, look at it. And people say, oh, I would like to live here. Because life is all about information available to you. So by the time
Yes.
people start getting that information, that, oh, Paris is a wonderful place, people start moving there. Brantford is good. They have good schools. Wonderful people, wonderful environment. People, and demand takes price very high. As people are demanding for more houses, there are still shortage of houses in Canada. New
Yes.
immigrants are coming every day. So
Yes.
it's still going to go up. Canada is still battling with shortage of houses. They're still solving that problem. So it's still going to go up. Right now, because of interest rate, you may look at this if it's a bit static, but give it another year, give it another 2 years. You see it will go very high. Because if you follow the trend, if you watch the trend from 2000, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. So it went up 2021, it came down 2022, came down 2023. There is high tendency that 2024 is going to go up again if you follow the trend. So I advise people, get into the market. Go to Brantford, go to Paris, go to Hamilton, buy
Go to
properties there.
London.
Go to London, buy properties
Yes.
there. Yeah, because prices are down now. They are actually down now. It's a good time to get in.
Wow. Thank you so much for the information. You have been very amazing since I have to tell you that. You have been
Thank you.
you did a wonderful job. So thank you for that. So what I want to ask you next is this. Now, I know you've answered majority of the questions that that I might have, but still, we're still gonna get into it and still
So
find
it
something.
is. That's why we're here. Throw them in. Tell our audience to throw them in.
All right. So, what would you say to, like, when it comes to the like condo investment, and then the actual house? Because Personally, I don't really like the idea of condo because of the monthly payment that you make towards the maintenance fees. Because I know sometimes it can be ridiculously high. So I don't really like condo. But there are people who would like to know, like, do you think a condo property is better to buy, or a normal, like a normal house, like, is like, what different would you say about the two?
So, Nini, one thing I would tell you is that individual preferences differs.
That's true.
I have met clients that said, I don't want any other property apart from a condo. Oh, I cannot park snow. So I want a place I will stay. No
That's
parking
true.
of snow, no anything. I have securities that before you come to my house, you meet this. People preference differs. I have someone that says, oh, I want to be seeing my car when I park in front of my house. So those are the people that want a house. Someone that lives in a condo doesn't mind parking their car under the underground, walk up to their house, but during winter, you don't see them parking snow. So, like I said, people choice. That's why you need to sit down. We sit down with you. We find out what are your preference. So, I mean, some people, if not condo, I'm not buying. Some people, like someone like you that is afraid of paying maintenance fee. If you are taking you to condo, you be like, is that what I'm asking you to do for me? So, I mean, the individual differences plays a role here,
That's
right?
true. That's true. Honestly, I agree with you. I agree with you because I've seen people, like, I have friends that that they wouldn't just mind that idea of, like, I just want to go for it, and then I see them, like, they pay like 700, 800, 900, even some 1,000 too, just on maintenance fees, and I'm like, and they're happy, and I'm like, kidding me? I'm like, are you guys kidding me? So, like, you are very right about that. Everybody
Yeah.
would.
Also, some people will tell you, like some good condos, you see them, they have some facilities, right? Some of them have a good gym, some have swimming pool, some have common areas. I mean, if you're living in a condo, some of them have a very good area that you can host your party, have your guests. So all these things are people preference. So it all depends on what does Nini want. That's why you need a realtor that will be
Yes.
very that understands the market, that will sit down with you. There are some things you may want, but you don't necessarily know that this is what I want until you get in. But when you have an experienced realtor, you sit down. After I ask you questions, understand your motivations, you will see, okay, these are the benefits of having this one. These are the benefits of having this one. You make an informed decision. So that's why you need an expert.
All right, all right. So, everyone, can you hear that? We have the expert in the house. So please, 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 guys, he's in his office is in Mississauga. So please, if you can reach out to him, we can drop his information, and then the team is gonna, like, if you have any question, drop your question below the video, on YouTube, and we will definitely pass it across to him. Like, he's an amazing person who is gonna help you with all your concerns. So please, please, please patronize him, go to his office, give him a call, and then reach out to him. And then, trust me, as he has the mission to, like, to help people, like, especially the black community. And I believe not just that alone, like, the Jamaican, doesn't matter wherever you are, or whatever, like, ethnicity you are. He just have that passion to help people to get the right property. So I would tell you, so please patronize him, go to his office, find out who he is, where he is, and I'm sure that, like, you can't go wrong because he's gonna be able to help you. All right, we're running out of time, but I actually have a question, but I'm thinking maybe I should suspend it for another time because I have this question. The idea of rent to own, or waiting to have everything yourself, like, I know like people battle with that a lot, and then they jump into like the property because they just want to have it, and then the capital is not enough, and they just go for the rent to own. So that's the question that I have. I don't know, maybe that's gonna take like a minute or so because we're about to round up right now. I know it's coming up late.
So, well, rent to own is a good way of, owning a property. But you need to find a landlord who is willing to go into that agreement with you. And you need to understand that concept very well. It's not something we can finish here. You need to understand the concept of rent to own very well before you go into that. So that tomorrow you don't get angry. Tomorrow you don't say, oh, these things are not very clear to me. There's a good concept there that you need to understand. It's a good way of investing, but it's very, how do I put it? It's very tactical that you need to understand it very well before you go into that agreement.
Oh, wow. So, if you want him to talk more about that, please, 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 you can drop your message, and then, he can give you all the information necessary. I want to say a very big thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate you. And I remain your host, your one and only, Mini Laughter Time. Until next time, thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
now.
Thank you, Linnea.